All right. So you're all wondering where the hell have you been, dude? Then just taking some time off. I haven't. I've gotten on a few times, played a little bit of one-on-one, but I really haven't been playing at all. I've just been taking some time off. The game has really, like, literally burnt me out with all of the stuff that they've done this year. Just tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. It takes a lot of time to set these up. Doing the walkthroughs, setting up a playlist with videos, shooting all the stuff. You figure in just a normal round, playing a practice round, a qualifying round, an opening round, a weekend round. Well, there's 6 hours right there. And if you're playing more than one account, and I will typically on tournament weeks play three accounts: a practice account, my lower level account, lower level clubs, and then my 77 account. It's 20 hours just in playtime. I'm not including videos and uploading the videos and going through the stuff. So on any given tournament week, it's anywhere from 30 to 40 hours a week. And so on those weeks, it's pretty much a full-time job on top of what I normally have going on. And then having tournaments every freaking week this year has just really, like, totally burned me out. So I've looked at the holes. I tried to set up a playlist, but one of the things that's really screwing me up is my whole thing is I started shooting videos right at the beginning of 2018, and what was really cool was Golf Clash Notebook came out, and so we had an opportunity to really look at the holes and research the holes and go through and look at them. And so a lot of what I do on my video is being able to look at the holes and being able to do those playlists and look at all the different ways that you can come at it. And Golf Clash Notebook not having upgraded or updated itself in the last 6-7 months has really screwed me up, because I know a lot of these holes we've played this year, but I have no idea what tournaments we played them in. And so some of the holes I play different now than I did a year or two ago when we played those holes before. So I don't have, like, up-to-date videos, and I know I have them somewhere in my playlists because I have all those tournaments, but I have no idea which tournaments they were. So it's really screwing me up that Golf Clash Notebook is not updating, which is really, I'm not sure, for those of you that are out there that are using the Golf Clash Notebook app, whether or not Golf Clash Notebook is updating their app and keeping up on stuff and making changes. But it really is kind of a bummer that they're not updating that website. I know that it takes a little bit of time, but if you're doing it, each week as you're just popping on stuff, it doesn't seem like it's a time, like it takes 1,000 hours to do it. Somebody could do that, but once again, they're probably in that same deal where every freaking week they've got to update their stuff. And so now they're 20, 25 tournaments behind, and it's really, for me, the way I shoot my videos, for those of you that watch my channel for a long time, that's just it really screws me up. So I looked at these holes here 4 or 5 days ago, and I don't even remember what they are, and I don't have any notes at all. So I'm just going to go out there and play and just see what the holes look like. And we'll just play it like we're playing one-on-one and see what happens. So I'm sure, like with any of these tournaments, the minimum score is always starting at -12. I know just from vague memory, it looked like there was a couple of the par fours here that we had opportunities to pick up, that we had serious opportunities to pick up eagles. So we'll start off with the premise that it's -12 is the minimum score, and we'll see where we go from there. And we'll see what it looks like when you go out and you just play and you don't do any practice. You don't have any idea what the holes are. Really just playing it by one-on-one. And I'm going to take 5 bags, extra mile and a sniper, rock and a sniper, big topper, big dog, just in case I need that combo, extra mile, guardian, APOC. I'm not sure. It's probably going to narrow down to the first 2 bags. Maybe something else on there. I'll start off with, I'm going to just play with I'll start off with my rock. I have no idea what balls I'm going to need. I'm going to start off with a Titan. I'm sure a lot of these holes, these Sequoia Creek holes, the Redwood Cup when it came out was, and the Redwood Cup really killed me. because they came out with a big update, and I noticed that they came out with an update here. I'm not exactly sure what the update. I have literally been like out of the loop for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm really kind of enjoying the time. I'm getting some stuff done around the house, and that 30 or 40 hours a week that I spend on those tournament times, I'm actually doing some other stuff around the house and trying to get some stuff done. And we're getting towards, we're eking up towards winter, and the weather's starting to change. So we'll just see what happens. We're just going to go out there and play and have some fun. Not have any grand master plan. We'll see what the holes look like, and try and remember them, and no biggie. If I need to pop up to a power 4 ball, we'll pop up to a power 4 ball. Need to pop up to a power 5, I'll pop up to a power 5. I'll play the shootouts just because that'll give me a little bit of info. Yeah, let's switch that up to a little bigger club. I'm going to leave that wind on there. I'm going to leave that wind in and just go for it. Do some overpower here. Hitting it perfect. In the sand. The way that came through those trees right there, I could have put a little bit more curl on it. If I remember correctly, you can put some curl. That one tree is definitely in the way there. But you can't put some curl on it. I vaguely remember this hole now. When this hole first came out, I thought, man, that shot there on the left-hand side of that sand, trying to get through there. And then when we actually played in that Redwood Cup, trying to get on the left-hand side, trying to avoid clipping that tree. I think my opponent did fine. Excellent. Nice shot. Nice shot, man. That dog will hunt. Let's see what kind of look we can get here. This distance away, I'm going to do, man, that's not going to move off of that hole very much. See if we can hit it perfect. Yeah, that was not perfect. That was 7,000 rings straight to the left. See if my opponent can get in from there. This would be a good practice day. Just go out and practice. And I always thought, and I always do, Mondays are great practice days. Go out there and don't worry about what your score is. Don't be disrespectful to your opponents, and just go out there and get your shot and then forfeit and not let them. They may be qualifying. Let them get their stuff in. If it's obvious that they're going to make a putt and you want to forfeit so you don't get the score you're looking for, then that's great. But be respectful of your opponents when you're out on Mondays practicing. But Monday is a great day to practice. Gives you an opportunity to see what the conditions are like out there. Go out and have a little bit of fun. All right, hole number 2. Have no idea. This looks like a par 3. It's probably going to be I think on this particular one we're doing a rough bump. We'll see. And I know going down this hill there's got to be some kind of an adjustment that we have to make. I'm going to use my number 2 bag. Yeah, this is definitely the rough bump. With an extra mile there, right at I suppose you could bring out a bigger ball and take it with a sniper. You got to bring out a low enough level ball with a tailwind like this. If the wind is consistent from round to round, and I think one of the changes my teammate Kyle mentioned was that the new format's going to be that the wind's going to change between rounds. So if you're right there on the cusp where you're a minimum driver, you got to be able to take that wind out. Let's see where we're at as far as club. All right. So there's max club. So we're pretty, or minimum club. So we're pretty close to min club. If I can get back here where I can see what the hell I'm doing. 3-7. We're a minimum club. It's about 1-2. There's 3-6. I'm going to do just a little teeny bit of an overpull. Hit it one ring great to the right. Snapped it off, running out of time. One ring great to the right. And that was probably at 1.2 per ring, 3-6. That leaves me 4. That was probably between a 5 and a 10% overpull. We'll make this so that we can see what another one of these par 3s is going to look like. This is what it's like when you just go out and not, this is almost like one-on-one right here. I have no idea. I really have no idea what holes we're playing. I haven't paid attention. Just going out and just trying to play. It's a draw. And this hole here, I've played this hole in a bunch of different ways. The last time we played this hole, I was playing from back, let's see where min club is. There's min, there's max, so I'm about mid club. Min club with my grizzly is going to be 1.5 per ring. So there's 3. I'm going to do 2.5 rings. That's a little bit of a overpull. Hitting it perfect. Way too much overpull. And we're reconnecting. Reconnecting. And if I was actually playing and I really knew what was going on and I really had the holes down, I don't normally on Mondays worry too much about elevation. Now on the par 3s, a little bit more, just because you only have one shot. You're not taking that drive shot to get out and try and get into position. So normally my MO is that on Mondays, I'm really concerned about making sure that I'm bringing the right clubs, the right ball, and the right secondary club to try and get me in the hole. And I don't worry so much about elevations, and it's not really all elevations. We use the word elevation to do all those adjustments, but just the little minute tweak adjustments that we do to try and get into the hole. I don't normally worry too much about those on Monday. Usually the whole goal, you'll see it even in the weekend round. People will get on a hole and they're searching around and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do on a hole. And it's like, hey guys, we've played some rounds here and you haven't figured out what you're going to do on the holes. That's why we take notes. That's why we have notes for the hole, so that we know that. We want to know that going into the opening round, so we're not worried about what club and what ball we're going to bring. Our whole goal is to, at that point, all we're worried about is making those minute adjustments. And I'm going to have to bring a bigger ball here. I'm going to do 4 backspin. And let's do 3.5. Somewhere in that neighborhood. 2-7. I'm going to put a little bit of curl on it just to bring it back around to the fairway. Hitting it perfect. And now it's all about whether I got the distance right, whether I put on enough backspin to keep me from rolling off. You don't want to be too much further back than that with a 3-power ball, because it'll make the second shot a little bit. You want to be close, but there's no need to be so close. 3 backspin, maybe 3 and a titch probably would have been enough. And I've taken the shot over here, I don't know how many times, and this shot right here, it's better if you bring out a 3-power ball so that you can get to the other side and do a max overpower shot. It really sets you up for a straight in shot. And you've got multiple options from that side. You can do a rough bump and right into the sand. And they are sunk. Oh, brown stuff. And so the closer you can get here, the more you can get up into that. Now there's several ways that you can go at this. You can try and do the lead it back to the hole like this. 3-2. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. 3.2. Try and hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Or you can try and go straight out the cup. Close. I've actually made the Albie a couple times doing the shot where you're trying to backboard it into the hole. I've done the shot also. I think the very last time we played this tournament, I was going straight out the hole because I wasn't having any success getting my ball guide to lead me back to the cup. And I've gone straight at it. And I believe there is probably a small adjustment that we need to make there. My opponent still has a chance. They did the wise thing and just put themselves in position. I'm going to do the shootout, so I'm going to let them catch up. Since it's a practice day, I'm not sure that I'll play, but I got a little bit of time right now. We didn't have any jobs scheduled for today, so I'm just making appointments and scheduling inspections and doing some admin work today, so I got a little bit of time. I thought I'd knock out 9 holes. Hitting it perfect and missed it just a bit on the outside. In the hole. So there shouldn't be any if you take the and I will tell you, the lower shot, there are some risks, because you have to get as far down into that shot on the drive as you can. So a quarterback is going to be your friend there. But you've got to do your setup so you know how much topspin or backspin that you're going to need to put on there, so that you can get as close to the cut up in the front as possible to make that second shot happen. If you don't have an upper developed sniper, as weird as it may sound, what are our options here? If you bring out, we're back on this hole again. We're right there at the cut. Which way's the wind blowing? The wind's blowing such that I can do this. Hey, get over here where I can see what the hell you're doing. think I should have did a 10% last time, so I'm going to do a 3-3, which is 3 rings. Hitting it perfect. Close. So on that drive shot, I'm trying to think of clubs here. If you bring a big dog, if you've got lower developed clubs, a big dog will help you on that second shot, but you're going to have limited ball guide. A horizon will be good because a horizon's got good ball guide, but the accuracy blows, especially when it's lower developed. And it'll actually be a little bit, the horizon accuracy is worse than a big dog when it's in the lower levels. But if all you have is lower developed clubs, a horizon might be a better shot for you. But the accuracy on a horizon is, if you hit it perfect, you're great. But if you hit a one ring great to the left or the right, especially on that drive, on that second shot, you could get caught up in the rough on the left-hand side. Good luck in the tournament. But you have options on that par 5. Hole number 4. Let's see what hole number 4 is. I have. Let's look at it here. What is it? It's a par 3. And this is the one. Which par 3 is this? Not sure if this is the one we played here a minute ago in that shootout, or if this is a different par 3. See if we can find us an opponent. Maybe. No practice, just playing. Please try again later. Yeah. It's so hard to find people playing Ricky. What's the deal? Is it that hard to find an opponent? I've had that happen. It's not as bad now, but like when I play my odd account, which is what I use as my practice account, it was back in the day when it first started, for like the first year and a half that the game was out. It was hard sometimes, especially if you waited until really late in a round. You could spend a ton of time trying to get an opponent, and spend like 5-6 minutes just sitting there watching it spin, trying to get an opponent before they'd either give you a replay or you would finally find a live opponent. I've never been a fan of coming at this hole on the right-hand side. I definitely like coming at it from the other side, and I can't remember. It seems like I was using a katana just because it has more side spin. But I've never really, ever since this hole came out, I played it a few times when the hole first came out from the right-hand side, but I think the left is a better shot. We're definitely at max club. See what that looks like. We won't have to put a lot of curl on it, but in order to get it back around, we're going to have to put some curl. 4 miles per hour. Put a little bit of curl on it just to try and bring it back towards the hole. Hit it one ring great to the right. And you got to get it, the funny thing on this is you got to get it way up here because it rolls back. When it rolls back down the hill, it rolls to the left. So you got to be way to the right of the cup in order to bring it back around. And the reason I don't like shooting from the right is it's so easy to end up with a duff shot and end up in the sand. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong because you're hitting so much on that hillside. And so if you hit the ball perfect, it's going to tend to go where you wanted it to go. But if you hit it great to the left and it hits lower down on the hill, it's going to take an irregular bounce to the left. If you hit it great to the right, it's going to take an irregular bounce to the right, and it's going to go way to the left or way to the right. And so it's very easy to end up in some trouble. We'll see what shootout we get. We'll see if we get that rough bump shootout again. I haven't seen the other. I think I've seen all three of the par threes now. Yeah, we're gonna get this rough bump shot over and over. Now the first time I didn't do any adjustment. The second time I did a plus 10. Maybe I've done a plus 10 both times. Can't remember. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use my driver here with that katana because my red line's going to be too far forward, so I'm going to have to use my wood. But I may not be able to get into the spot where I can do the rough bump. And the rough bump is definitely going to be a better way to go for hole-in-one consistently than doing the bounce over. If I remember correctly, when you do this bounce over, it wants to run really fast. And it's easy to end up in that sand because everything's going downhill, so once it hits, it's going to roll out. Let's see where my red line's at. Might have just enough room. Maybe. So that'd be like 3.9. I don't think I have enough room to work out 3.9. There's 3.6. It's at minimum club, so there's about 3.9. So I'm going to slightly short shoot it. Hitting it perfect. Whoo, just barely caught that rough. Close. Good game. Good luck in the tournament. All right, that was Grand Forest Tournament. Hole number 4. I want to make sure I may, like I said, I may or may not play this tournament, but I just wanted to come on here. I thought I had a little bit of time. I'll shoot it up. We'll see what the deal is. See the people up here, it's -12 minimum score. I really do believe that there's a couple of the par 4, or at least one of the par 4s in this tournament, if I remember correctly, that is makeable. So if I do play, I don't want to qualify today, so I will hopefully be able to tank a few shots here and there. Not that I haven't already tanked a few shots. Gave my opponent a break. Okay, this hole here is definitely a hole that we can, and I don't know that we can do it with a power 3 ball. I think you have to have a bigger ball in order to get over there. No, power 4 ball probably would get you right up into the zone. With that wind, I don't think we'll have to do any overpower. Because there's 4. I'm going to do just a little teeny bit of overpower and just a little teeny bit of curl. And hit it 7,000 rings straight to the left. But this is definitely a hole right here that I believe that we are going to need to pick up. You're going to need to pick up an eagle on this hole in the tournament in order to keep up with the Joneses. So this is a hole right here that you need to work that shot out. It would be a lot better if you brought out a power 4 ball or a power 5 ball, depending on the level of your club, so that you can get in the front. Ideally, you want to be able to take the wind out so that you can standardize the shot a little bit. And then you're just working on your top spin to make sure that you don't overshoot the green. Because it wants to roll. When it gets down here, it can hit the flat and it wants to roll out, and it's very easy to end up on the back side. But you'll need to, this is going to be a hole that you're going to need to get an eagle on. You're going to need to pick up that eagle. See if we can get this in the hole. Hitting it perfect. See if I got my wind adjustment right. In the hole! Gonna have to get an eagle on that hole. That's for sure. It works. I was trying to give myself enough room there that if I hit a great on the left-hand side or a perfect, it could go in. And I just barely didn't leave myself. I almost gave myself too much room. It's a draw. I'm gonna have to start tanking something, or I already tanked that one putt. I'm gonna have to start missing something, otherwise I will qualify today. Now, you can come at it from over here where my opponent's at. You can come at it straight up here in the front with a guardian, and you can drive straight towards the cup. When this hole first came out, my shot on it is to get in front of all those traps and go straight towards the cup. Get your birdie, give yourself an opportunity for a hole-in-one, and move the hell on. Because when you start doing this stuff where you're bouncing over a rough, or you're bouncing over the sand, and you're giving yourself tons of opportunities to have an epic fail. So if you've got the club, you can come up there and you can do backspin. So you could bring out a bigger ball and use a Saturn, or you could bring out a smaller ball and use a Guardian. I'm going to do a 20% adjustment on this. So I'm going to do like a 5-4. Hitting it perfect. Because it seemed like the last time I was way the hell off to the right, and I didn't do any adjustment at all. So 20% put me on track. Just have my speed a little wrong. Good luck in the tournament. All right, that was hole number 5. Let's check out hole number 6. Hole number 6. Let's see what hole number 6 brings us. I have no clue. I'm actually having a little bit of fun today, just going out here and not having any idea. Ideally, if you want better results in tournaments, you've got to be you got to have a little bit better game plan than what I've got going on today. All right, there's several. You can try and work yourself around the corner and get way out here, or you can try and get up towards the front of this pad right here so that you can come in at it. But if you're going to get around the corner, the problem with going straight is you got to get out there far enough that you can get around the trees. So what my opponent did right there is not actually a bad play. Yeah, they needed to get a little bit farther past that tree, but that's not a bad play. Let's try a Titan. Let's see what a Titan gets me. Extra mile, will that get me all the way over? Or am I going to have to bring out something? Can I get over there? All right, let's try it. Let's try it. 2 rings great to the right. Oh, So close. If I remember correctly, I was bringing out a power 4 ball. I tried, I think when this tournament came out originally, I was trying to like bounce completely through that fairway and getting over onto the extension of the fairway where the green's at. And you can get around that corner. It's better served with a QB or a rock, where you're really trying to dig yourself around that corner to give yourself a better shot at it. And there is a rough bump that you can do. Is this the hole that you can do the rough bump from that side? Let me think. Look at how much of a hole that green's in. It's way downhill. Definitely a max club. .35. It's about 2 per ring. So there's 2. There's 3. It's about a ring and 3/4. Put all the curl on it. Try and bring it around to the cup. Hitting it perfect. Recovering nicely. Put a little too much backspin on it. I could have got a little closer. The thing about doing recovery shots, if you find yourself in a spot of bother, the deal is don't get too greedy, because if you try and I'm gonna like really press the issue, you could end up rolling off the backside and ending up in the rough, and you took your recovery shot and you need to put yourself in a hole. So I'm gonna forfeit just so that I don't qualify today. Just in case I decide I want to play tomorrow, just so I can check the holes out. I can go back and watch this video. Good luck in the tournament. Keep myself out of the qualification zone. Hole number 7, let's check it out. Just dinking. Minimum score is definitely going to be, so far what I've seen is -12, and there's one in that one par 4. You're going to have to get an eagle on that par 4. So minimum score is definitely going to be -13. All right, I'm going to switch to a Marlin. No sense in wasting a great ball. It's about 1.5 per ring. I got a headwind. I'm going to do so it's 1.5 per ring. I'm going to do a 4.1 mile per hour. So it's 1.5. There's 3. There's 4, 5. So I'm going to do about a ring and about 2 2/3 rings. Hitting it perfect. Not quite enough of a pull. Distance is good. Like if we're going to get a headwind like that, and some of these holes, here's the thing about what, like we say the word elevation, but it's not always elevation. Headwind's going to affect your ball different than tailwind. So like there's some holes, especially some of the holes where we're on the ocean or we're on sand or there's water around it. You know, one of the holes that comes to mind for me is if we've got tailwind, I do pretty much a straight up adjustment. If we've got headwind, I do a 30% adjustment. Because headwind's going to kill that ball. It's going to kill that flight on that ball. So understanding that when you've got a headwind, we're going to do a bigger adjustment than what we're going to do when we've got a tailwind, and just keeping that in mind. So if we've got varying winds, if they did change the winds from one round to the next, where one round you may get tailwind and the next round you may get headwind. And just recognize, especially on those par threes where we're going straight towards the cup, that the wind's going to affect the ball different. I'd like to see how that'll play out on some of the par fours and the par fives where, like, we're already kind of pushing the limit, or you're bringing out a power five ball and it's just getting you to the spot. When the game first came out, the winds in the tournament were exactly like wind in one-on-one, where the first shot you could be with a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, and the second shot you could be with a 8-mile-an-hour tailwind. And then the next group behind you, somebody that got online and played right behind you, they could get headwind or tailwind on both shots. And so it really kind of was unfair. I think the way that the wind is in one-on-one is unfair to begin with, because there's no way, and everybody out there, we've seen this 1,000 times. You get a 15-mile, 10-mile-an-hour, 5-mile-an-hour headwind on the drive, and then the very next shot is a 6-mile-an-hour tailwind. Okay, the wind did not change 180 degrees in 5 minutes. So if you're playing real golf, it's 5 minutes between shots. There's no way that it changed like that. You know, if they want to give you wind going in one direction, then fine. But the next shot should be realistic. I definitely want to take my number 2 bag. And if I remember correctly, I'm bringing a katana. Do 6, do 3. Now this hole right here, so this hole right here is an absolute must to get an eagle on. And that was a very poor example of how to do that. But this is a hole right here. So there's 2 par 4s in this game that you're going to have to get eagles. So the minimum score is going to be -14 just based off of those 2 par 4s. You'll have to get it worked out on what ball to bring and where to set that up. But that shot right there with a QB or a rock, or you can bring a big topper on there, but trying to go around the trees on the outside and going straight at the cup. The last time we played this in a tournament, I was getting it down to the point, and if you know what tournament we played this in last, go back and watch my playlist for this hole, and with a rock, you can get that ball almost hole-in-oneable. See if I can hit this one perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I made an adjustment right. In the hole. So those 2 par 4s, which I tanked the drive and ended up making the rough shot to get in, getting eagles on those. You're going to have to get eagles on those holes. I mean, there's just no 2 ways around it. So, like, literally, this is going to be a -14 minimum score tournament just based off of those. It's very unlikely that hole number 9 is going to be some easy hole that gives you... There's only a couple holes in the game that it's like you have to get an albatross on that hole, but it's very unlikely that this is going to be one of them. So just looking at the 2 par 4s, minimum score of -14 is what you're going to have to get. So you're looking at 28 as a minimum. At least one of those par 3s, one of the par 3s I believe is not a high percentage par 3 to get a hole-in-one on, but one of them, especially the one with the rough bump, you definitely have an awesome opportunity to get a hole-in-one on that hole. That is doable. And I believe I was bringing out a power 4 ball on this in order to get over there to the other side. And you want to get as far up there as you can because you want to clear that tree. Let me bring out a bigger ball just so we can see what it looks like with a bigger ball. Euro ball. Getting it perfect. And just trying to get as far. You need to get over to the other side, and I may have overshot it. Nope. Good. You've got to clear. You got to get out there far enough that you've got a straight in shot to the cup, and you can get past this tree right here. So if you bring out a power 3 ball, you may be able to bleed off and get up into this area where you're just on the other side. In which case, I would actually go to the right-hand side of the tree, and this is the hole. Earlier I thought it was the one, but this is the hole that you can do a rough bump coming into the green. If you take the right-hand side of the tree, there's a rough bump that you can do. But if you're going to try and come at it from the left-hand side of that tree, you're going to need to get past it. I'm not sure. That's going to be a big shot. And you can do a rough bump right here. This is what I was talking about on the left-hand side. Let's see if I can get in front. So I can get in front. I'm getting towards max. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. Yeah, it's a little down. I'm going to do a 4 mile per hour adjustment. That's about a 15%. Ah, okay, great to the right. Just a bit outside. Yeah, so the 2 par 4s, got to get eagles on those 2 par 4s. And it's pretty easy if you bring out the right equipment. So, I mean, and it's really ball, even if you've got lower developed clubs. The 1 par 4 that we just played here, you can get that done with a QB. And the other par 4, you can get done with pretty much any extra mile. But you're going to have to bring out a bigger ball depending on the level of your extra mile. So if you've got an upper developed extra mile, you can probably get it done with a power 3 ball. If you've got a lower developed extra mile, you're going to have to bring out a power 5. I'm just the messenger. We'll see if my opponent can get in. My opponent's probably pissed because they would have got a birdie. Now we're still on track for a birdie. This is their 3rd shot, 4th shot. I would have got the eagle. They would have got the birdie. Now they're on a track for it. I'll forfeit just so that I make sure that I don't qualify today, just in case I get some motivation to decide I want to play this week. I'm not sure if I will or not, but I wanted to at least put something out there. I had a little bit of time, like I said, and just take a look at the holes just so that we could get an idea of what clubs, what balls we need. They are pissed. All right, I won't qualify with the -5. That's good. So -12's up at the top, and that's not going to be good enough. You're going to have to shoot. You're going to have to get a -14 if you want to compete with the Joneses, and I really think there's several other shots in there. That 1 par 3, we've got a shot. We do have some shots on these par 5s where we could pick up a shot, but I think you're going to have to start your thought process at -28. Let's see if we can get my pen to work. Does my pen work? -28 is what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for -14 aside. We've got to pick up those eagles on those 2 par 4s. It's just there's going to be too many people at the top of the bracket that are going to pick those up. And so if you go out there with the mindset that you can shoot a minus 12 at the minimum, it's going to end up putting you, mid-pack. With a minus 24, you're, depending on what type of bracket you play in, you could be looking at, hell, if you're playing rookie and you've got a Masters account, you could be looking at 90th place with a minus 24. I think you're really going to have to pick up those extra shots in order to get yourself up into the top. If you're playing, rookie pro, you're shooting a minus 28, you're going to find yourself up towards the top. But you're going to have to pick up something on that to separate yourself from that group. But it's all going to start. Your round is all going to start with a minus 14. You've got to think going in that you have to shoot at least a minus 14 in order to be up there in that group. And start there and then work yourself along. All right, that was just a practice round in the Grand Forest Tournament. And that was a blind practice round. No notes, no nothing, just going out there and playing. It's definitely possible. It's very, I don't think you're going to have that. As far as like our normal minimum minus 12, that should be like in the bag. The minus 14, you're going to have to work a little bit on those 2 par 4s. You're going to have to bring out the right stuff to help yourself out. But I think the minus 14 is extremely doable. And then trying to pick up something from that is really going to be trying to dial those shots into the cup and hitting perfect. All right. That was the Grand Forest Tournament and Monday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, my plan is that I'm just taking a little bit of a break. I haven't quit. I haven't really been active on it. I just need a little bit of a break here coming into the winter. We have tax stuff that we're doing this week, so it's always a bummer on the weeks that we do taxes. And so coming up towards Halloween, hopefully I'll be back in the groove and work will slow down a little bit, and I'll have time to put into it. So I appreciate everybody watching, and have a great tournament, and go out there and have some fun. Thanks for watching.